get started. Now, back to my original point that I was trying to cover in the other videos that were to the wrong room. Hi, Dimitri B. It says video cannot be played. It says video cannot be played. I wonder if Victor can see me. I wonder if anybody can see me. Hello, I can see myself. Let's turn that all the way down. Sorry about that. So, HJH288 followed me. That's the first thing I want to cover. Thank you for the follow. Everybody else followed me too. And I think we're in the right spot, and everything should be good. We can restart where we were going to start, and it's a good thing we had kind of a half an hour to play with. This stream may last all the way up until 6:30 p.m. Eastern, just because we had some technical difficulties. I covered some stuff, and Hannah had some very interesting follow-up questions, so I think we'll revisit those. So, I'm very excited, guys. Sorry about this. Basically, I had said that the first session that we're going to cover today is session 4.1. I rearranged some of the other sessions from yesterday to fit the scheduling requirements. So for 4.1, the first thing we're going to look at is the profitability of these bots and whether or not our goal is to be profitable. And basically, I wanted to warn everybody that if it's your first time or if you're trying to set up a bot with a wonderful strategy, there's a lot of things that can get in the way, and that's kind of inside the point of 4.2. So I'm going to combine these today to one session. We'll have it done in the next 10 minutes. Hannah has some great questions. Basically, my whole point is that other people are going to have infrastructure and servers and 100 gigabit connections. Other people, I'm not sure if this actually happens, but I'm sure it does. Other people are going to have negotiations with exchanges to have their bots on their infrastructure before the API even gets the data every minute. So I'm sure that happens in microseconds. I'm sure it happens for multi-million dollars worth of negotiations, and I think it happens all the time because you see people with bots that should be fairly profitable, but other bots beat them to it every single time. Their execution is much faster. It's just because of the networking and infrastructure. So Hannah, I think, can you ask me the first question you asked again?
I would like to know the budget. I think the first question was the budget and the monthly cost for the server.
Yeah, so the servers you can acquire at reasonable costs. If you were to place one as geographically close to an exchange as you could, if you knew where their data centers were. So let's say they're in Dallas, you get a server in Dallas. You can get them online from various suppliers. One of the best ones that you can go for that has servers all over the planet that are actually dedicated and not just fake news is OVH. OVH has servers, we can look at it actually. OVH. Dedicated, and we're good. We're streaming. So I think they're actually a Canadian company, which is great because I'm Canadian. All the best people are Canadian. Full dedicated server series. So I'll get you a price right now on one that's got. So this one here, this one they're advertising right now, which with a discount. It's 1 gigabit a second. So most of the greatest residential internets you'll ever get are going to be 1 gigabit a second, except in some countries like Iceland, who have 10 gigabit connections, and I think Google has some test runs of 10 gigabit connections all over the states. Either way, the best internet that I can get here at home, I don't even have it right now, which is why my bitrate is so low, is 1 gigabit a second, which is what this server advertises for $93 a month. So if we were to find better internet on these servers, let's see if we can search by that kind of need. 10 gigabits card or more is what they have here for the filters. So I guessed $1,000 a month. We need one that's got good RAM, a good processor. So I guess I could be wrong. I guess you can find them for much cheaper because they have a couple listings here that are way less than what I said to you originally, Hannah. So this one here looks like it could be good. Let's take a look at it. It's only $129 a month. The VRAC is going to be extra for the 10 gigabit. Oh, I thought this was 10 gigabit, guys. No, traffic, look at this. Burst 3 gigabit. So a VRAC is internal traffic. Traffic is the outside traffic. So it looks like I can't search by the outside traffic. So let me try and search 10 gigabit connection, dedicated, OVH. Just to get you an idea of how much this would cost for one that has a good connection. And by the way, good connection is not the best connection you can get. There are enterprise levels, 100 gigabit, 1,000 gigabit connections that people with enough money can afford, but it's just not within most people's budget. So I'm trying to find a 10 gigabit external traffic on OVH. Somebody's asking the question that I'm asking on Web Hosting Talk. I saw on OVH, I tried to Google some, is it really 10 gigabit? So let's see what's going on. Best of, so this is on OVH through some other vendor, I guess. I don't know why. It's not loading any of the information, so I don't think it actually exists anymore. Maybe it does. Does it say 10 gigabit anywhere? Network. Bandwidth. No, that's terms of service bandwidth. I want bandwidth. Whoops. Either way, I just want an example. So let's go back and search everybody other than just OVH and see if we can get an example of something like this 10 gigabit. Because I'm sure the cheapest one's going to be at least $1,000 a month. If I could go back, that'd be great. No, I don't think. Sorry about that. And that might be the reason the stream died, one of them, so let's try. Hannah asked me there if I was sharing my desktop, and I wasn't. So I want to go back to Google here and search, come on, computer, 10 gigabit per second, dedicated server. Dedicated server. Unshared 10 gigabits ports on datapacket.com is one of the advertised solutions here. So see pricing. I have no idea how much this is going to cost. I'm just guessing. So $140 per month is their cheapest one available, and it's not even 10 gigabit yet. Let's go to 10. They actually have 20 unmetered if we wanted it for $3,500 a month for the 20, and $2,000 a month for the 10. Now that's an advertised result. So let's go to the highest natural result on Google and see if they got a better price. But that gives you an idea of what's being sold. So the best unadvertised result on Google is going to be these guys. It's hostunmeter.net, who I'm not affiliated with. If I was to order their connection, I'd be looking at, oh, that's not that bad. It says max, so it must be a shared port. Either way, these guys are charging 179 euros for this very dedicated platform, which is the 10 gigabit connection. So I would say anywhere between, how much is that in US dollars? Can you see my screen, Hannah?
Yeah, I think you're doing the currency.
So I guess anywhere between $210 and a couple $1,000 is going to get you the performance you want. That first result we saw was an unshared port, which in virtual and dedicated servers means that you get that whole 10 gigabit of bandwidth. The second one that we're seeing that says max 10 gigabits, that's because they're sharing the connection among a whole bunch of different dedicated servers, which means you're not going to get the performance that you want out of it all the time. And it's variable, which means you're taking a risk. So if you didn't want to take a risk, you're looking at a minimum of a couple grand a month, and that's the answer to your question, Hannah. But that's only to get competitive with the other guys that have bought that aren't in cahoots with the exchange. If that makes sense. If you wanted to move forward with these guys, did I replace that? I think I did. If you wanted to move forward with one of these servers, we could absolutely try it. Let's build the bot first, of course. Make sure that it's working first, of course. But if you wanted to try one of these servers, it looks good. It's got storage. It's got lots of RAM. It says max. Doesn't tell you the stats of the CPU. I have no idea who these guys are. I don't know what their reviews are. They don't have any reviews posted on here. The copyrights in 2018, which is a good sign. Either way, we'd have to look it up and do more research, but we don't have time for that right now. What we do have time for is to finish this session, which was all about the restrictions on what you can do with your bots and how you gotta gauge yourself and kind of hold back your enthusiasm in case you're worried or in case you want performance that might not otherwise be possible just because of the other actors in this space. And I mean, we talked about that when we were doing our first ever session yesterday, which was our expectations that it might not perform the way TradingView is seeming to perform, or the way that their bots are performing on their servers with their infrastructure and their deals with the exchanges, because you know that, for instance, BitMex shows the charts using TradingView, which means they do have a strategic partnership of some kind. We can expect that they probably have trading partnerships that put TradingView and anybody who's at TradingView ahead of the curve. And that's all I wanted to make sure is doubly clear with this section. That said, the learning objective of this session would be to understand that infrastructure is expensive, and our bots are going to be a couple milliseconds behind, no matter what we do, of somebody. And that's it. So that's this session. We'll take a short break, just a couple minutes. We have 26 people in the stream. That's good stuff. Thank you, everybody. Wait for us. We'll be back. The next section is going to be, what is trending price momentum? What are the indicators that we're going to use? How do they work? There's another session after that, which I'm actually going to change and combine again, like I just did with this session that we just did. It's a very short session. It'll have to be at least 10 minutes. So we'll discuss, what is trending price momentum? How do we select buying and exchange signals with this indicator, or with this combination of indicators that we're going to use? And Hannah, if you don't understand the technicalities of how it's working behind the scenes to select these signals, I mean, I know you're very familiar with how they perform and how how you view them on TradingView, with the indicator on the chart, which I lost because this thing doesn't have enough memory. Sorry, just a second. I need a better computer. Okay. My point was, you can see what it does, but if you don't understand how it's getting to this conclusion about where to enter and exit, you see the entries and exits here. It's doing great trades, except for some of them that are losing. But it says actually on the strategy tester that it's winning 54% of the time, which is phenomenal. And like Hannah said to me, if we can get it to perform at least to spec, at least as good as the other guys that are trying to compete for this indicator, we should see substantial returns. And that I agree, it's true. I just want to be sure that everybody's prepared to not have that be realized due to the technical constraints. But we're going to look at this momentum and what it means, how we calculate it. We're going to probably look at Investopedia here in the next session. But for right now, we're going to wait for 3 to 5 minutes while we wait between sessions. I have a break. Everybody else has a break, and Hannah has a break, and we will be back. Thanks so much. Hannah, I'll call you back. Hey? Sounds good. I'll call you back. We'll be back.